whole new realities of how this society operates, what the basis underpinnings of these new realities is, and how one actually lives in these new realities, and how one exists in a way using these new realities to save the planet and change everything we know right now. We are in the midst of such a basic paradigm change in everything from science on downward that this entire world is indeed is about to shift, is about to change.
So do you think, I think you call it BRIC nations, like Russia, China, Brazil, India?
Right, I kind of put two eyes into the BRIC. I put Ireland in there as well.
All right. What do you have to say about them? Are they doing pretty good at this? Are they in touch with this new paradigm, or are they just going by the seat of their pants?
What they are doing is trying to create paradigms that works. Unfortunately, some of these nations have been involved in politics that are a little short-sighted, but what is happening on the economic and the financial system aspect is that they are innovating a whole new reality for this planet, and that this new economic system is going to create a new political system, whether some people who are not involved in this new system fully will want it or not, because what is happening to this planet right now is it can't exist with the nation state the way it now exists with these self-interests. We have to begin to pull together. And that's what the original concept of the BRIC nations was about. Let's end poverty. Let's end all the difficulties that this present economic system creates. There's no need for want. There's no need for poverty. There's no need for starvation on this planet. We have more than enough to take care of everybody. Let's redistribute everything because there's enough wealth on this planet to do it. We're talking about amazing amounts, hundreds of quadrillions of dollars, basically, that exists in this planet as a natural resource. Let's take these vast, incredible amounts of economic power and let's use them to create something that does all the things we were just talking about here. Let's end starvation on this planet. Let's end want. Let's end competition. Let's create a society that allows everyone on this planet to have a piece of it so that they're all prosperous and they can then take those resources that they have to use their own amazing potential, working together with others to create even better paradigms for how this society can work. And that is what I see happening. As we move toward full consciousness, the idea of cooperation, the idea of solving things creatively becomes more and more viable, and that's where our pathway is leading.
So will this kick in from, like you say, we're going from the 7th to the 13th chakra? Is this going to be a smooth transition for most people, or is it going to be disruptive?
Well, the initial part of it all has been disruptive for a lot of people because they've had some health problems, some health difficulties. Everybody's involved in some level of it. You have an amazing amount of change that happens when you do all of this. What happens first and foremost is as these new chakra systems come in, they begin to disrupt initially how the system flows, how the body operates. And as they come online, they begin changing this flow, and it becomes better because there's now more possibilities in how the system can come together. So as it increases the overall integrity of the system, it has to downgrade the old system. So this is the thing that has caused problems, this transitional period between how our bodies used to operate and how they need to operate to be fully conscious. So we're moving in that direction. The final jump will require some great assistance, which is why the galactics are here. They are here for two reasons. One, to act as our eventual mentors of moving into full consciousness, and most importantly, they are here to act as the people that will be the way showers to show us how this can be done. Through what series of technologies does it take to move this entire planet from where it is right now into full consciousness? And that's what we're talking about.
So, Sheldan, I've noticed that we are really poised for war in the Middle East, and the Israelis are talking about even a thermonuclear war, which would, in turn, the Russians are saying that they would get involved, the Chinese would get, it could cause something. Are we being, is somebody watching over us from a higher level of consciousness to not let this happen? or is this a real danger?
There's a danger in it, but what is happening is we are being watched. First of all, the nuclear option has been thrown out the door. They have basically said if it takes their technology to totally get rid of all nuclear weapons at a point when nuclear exchange seems inevitable, they will do so. They will not allow exchange of missiles or bombers or bombs or whatever basic aspect is used for the exchange of these weapons. Secondly, they do not really want another massive war on the level of World War III, which is what things in the Middle East have the potential for. Let's look at Syria, which is basically has a massive potential for this. If you were to look at where Syria now stands, we have China and Russia on one end. We have the Arab nation, most of the other Arab nations on the other end. We have their allies in the West, of France, the United States, Great Britain, etc., on the other end. Basically, you have a situation similar to what before the beginning of World War I, what happened to the Balkans, just exchange the Middle East for the Balkans in 1914, and you have the same basic thing happening. This is not a viable option. So what is happening right now is it is necessary, it is essential that this war not happen. So that is what is being looked at very closely by the Galactics. We cannot allow this to happen. Secondly, we cannot allow any sort of Tinder effect to happen that would cause this to occur before the change happens. So they're speeding up the change, A. This year, 2012, is a very important year. They intend to use that year to bring forth a great shift in how this world operates. The timeline that now exists is about to run out. The way the system of the powers that be on this planet operates is running out. They all know that. That's why they're trying to get this done before the summer or spring, some kind of a conflict. That will not be permitted. So just look at it as a quasi-Cuban missile crisis that is not really going to get that serious, but that has potentials only for speeding up and accelerating the change that we now need.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have to pay attention to, but it does seem like that this year is a really important year because for whatever reason, the Mayan calendar, the Aztecs, the Hopis, we have so many people focused consciously on this year that something has to happen, because if it doesn't, we're going to lose the attention of a lot of people. I think a lot of people would just go, oh, well, you know, I guess nothing's going to happen. I think this is the year that something has to happen. And if they're watching us and they're controlling and manipulating and helping us through this, I think it's down to the wire. You know, even in the Mayan calendar, I think it's in June of this year that Quetzalcoatl is supposed to come back, according to the Aztecs and all that. So there's a lot that's supposed to happen this year.
I would say that that's absolutely correct. What we have right now is a series of secret sacred societies operating under these Senate masters that have created a new financial system. Governments, the old financial governments that are in power right now, on the verge of collapse, both economically and politically. And we have a potential major conflict on another side, seemingly ready to blossom. What needs to happen is we need to allow the system to collapse without war, and at the same time raise up and within the rubbles of that collapse, even as the collapse is happening, a whole new system. It's kind of like a flower that comes immediately out of the rubble. It doesn't wait for the rubble to, the dust to settle, so to speak. This is what is about to happen, and this year is that year of shift, that year of change. So what we are looking at right now is that this indeed is a period of great change. People who study timelines, people who look around at how you can change timelines are seeing that there is only one thing happening on this planet, which is something which the mind learned a long time ago. The system of how this reality works is about to run out. It's almost like it's a mechanical clock, and at a certain time in this year, the spring that runs that timepiece is going to stop, and the great watch is going to no longer be able to go tick, tick, tock anymore. And that's about where we are right now.
Sheldan, there's been something that's been on my mind lately, especially living in Northern California. And actually, a couple of issues ago, we did a big article about it, and it's the chemtrails. What do you think that's about? Do you have any information on that?
Okay, the chemtrails, the cover for the chemtrails is that there's supposed to be this stuff being released into the atmosphere that looks like some strange form of aircraft contrail, but it's filled with all kinds of weird chemicals that is supposed to be for some form of weather control. And I think in terms of Northern California, it has been. What it is doing is basically creating a very horrible shift in rain patterns, especially for the central part and the southern part of California, which basically extends from around way out where we are right now, or the Sacramento area, basically, all the way down to San Diego and the California border. This is bad because we just had a wonderful rainy season last year, and we needed really another one to end the whole drought period. We went through an immense drought period of over half a decade, and we just finished it up last year, and our hope was that we would have another rain. So I see it as a negative change in weather. But what I see more with this, they have heavy metals, etc. When this stuff, this heavy metals, gets into your body, we're going to breathe it because it's chemtrails, it's coming into our atmosphere, it's settling on our legs, it's settling within our bodies and our lungs, it's causing all kinds of problems because these are poisonous heavy metals. They're not good for the body. Matter of fact, every basic system that tries cleansing, the basic thing they're trying to cleanse is heavy metals in the body. For instance, people who have gone through entire changes in their teeth when they had mercury fillings, because mercury, another heavy metal, is highly disastrous. It's a poison in large concentrations, as it does in dental fillings and the so-called original amalgams. So the same thing is happening with all the barium and the strontium and the aluminum and all the other basic things that they are pouring into the atmosphere. Yes, it can be used for weather change. Yes, if they are using experimentation on a large scale, they are doing it. They're proving that they can stop rain. They're doing a great job of it. They did it last year when they would stop periods when we had huge rains, and it would just stop for a while. And you would see these huge chemtrails. Now, they're just going for it all over this country because what they are doing is poisoning us. And what the Galactic Federation is doing initially is just cutting down on the amount of poisons. They haven't shut it off yet completely. There's some things that have to be done before they can do that. But in the interregnum, we have to understand that there is this stuff, which is the only thing I can call it because I don't really know of any name for it. Chemtrails is just a moniker for the first stage of it. That's out there.
Yeah, I know they found aluminum oxide, but I think there's like 2 or 3 other heavy metals in it.
Right.
And it's hitting the ground so heavily, like up in Mount Shasta, that it's killing trees and it's raising the alkaline content of the soil so much that there's certain plants that no longer grow. So there has to be another reason for this, but sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a malevolent action and just out and out stupidity and greed, because there might be people making billions of dollars buying all these chemicals and spraying them in our atmosphere.
Well, they are making money off the contracts, but the purpose of the contract is malevolence. It's not good stuff that they're doing. They're not doing this out of some joy. They're doing this out of some attempt as part of a larger program for population reduction.